Talk on Sports Radio The Ticket.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Nirvana, making my day a little bit easier. Our video segment brought to you by Dollar Loan Center, funding loans for 25 years at don'tbebroke.com. Quick, inexpensive, safe, regulated, and thrilled to be opening 16 stores soon in Idaho. Apply online for up to $5,000 credit at don'tbebroke.com. Mike Prater, it felt like a new era for me today on the Blue.
You said that a couple times today.
That's kind of my thing. That was the first thing that I wrote down.
What did because I didn't feel that. So what kind of era did you feel today?
Well, I just looked at like where they are from this year, from where they were last year, and there's just so many new pieces and coaches. And last year we were still thinking, okay, this Tim Plow era, how is the offense going to get better? Hank Bachmeier, a fourth-year starter back. George Holani last year was a fourth-year running back. Like, it just felt like they were old. It was a veteran team. All those guys who are on the defense who aren't with the program anymore, many of whom are in NFL camps right now. And I'm just looking around today, and I'm thinking, okay, the big stars. One, obviously, Taylen Green, can't miss him. Another one for me is Ashton Genty, Eric McAllister. I'm a big Prince Strawn guy. I don't know if it happens this year, but I think he'll pop at some point. And I'm just looking around, and all the big, for me, faces of this program are new, essentially. They're younger players. Seeing Bush Hamden coach his first actual practice. We saw him in the spring. Fall camp is different. Taylen was right. That Mamba mentality. And I just looked around, damn it. And I was like, you know what? Holy smokes. I think we might be in a new era of Boise State football, Prater. And I hope it's a good era, not only for our show and our business, but certainly for these fans.
I sensed a little bit of confidence. That was kind of my deal. And you know, just every team, every coach, every player this time of year is full of confidence. Andy Avalos was that last year. He's always been that way. But this year, I think they have the pieces to actually back it up a little bit more. So less holes for me, more depth, not as many question marks. But, you know, last year we thought, I mean, I wrote that Hank Bachmeier was poised to have a great season. Yeah. He was a fourth-year starter, starting his fourth consecutive opening day game. Everybody was saying that, I know we were having conversations about why isn't he on the billboard? Why isn't he a captain? Why didn't he go to media days? Mm-hmm. So there were some definitely red flags about what was going on behind the scenes and in the locker room, which he eventually lost, and they had to make those drastic decisions after that UTEP game. But, going into the season, I felt pretty good. This year, I don't think there's any red flags. I mean, there's question marks, but I don't think that there's any red flags. I mean, we're talking about yesterday. We asked about, you know, one of my priorities was finding a number 5 wide receiver. That's where this offense is. This football team is set up to succeed. I think that everything in front of them is supposed to be, it's supposed to be a promising season, and I just need them. Boise State needs them. Bronco Nation needs them. His community needs them to come through this year, and I can't wait to see how that plays out.
What'd you take away from Taylen Green throwing the ball today, what you were able to see?
I only watched him for a little bit throw the ball. You know, I watched him probably a couple of those individual series. He was throwing the out pattern really nice. He had some nice zip on the ball. I don't think throwing the football is ever going to blow me away from Taylen Green. He has a lot of other intangibles that I like, you know, the way he runs, the way he conducts his business, just his whole vibe and the way he's smooth about that. He's a good passer, and he's going to have great passing stats, but he just doesn't pop. I mean, last year I thought Sam Vidlak was the better passer. Probably still is the better passer, but Taylen Green still is a pretty damn good passer.
I didn't see a ball hit the floor today from Taylen, and I thought I watched about every single pass. And if anybody can show me something that suggests otherwise, I would like to see it. No, his arm, I don't watch him throw and say, oh my gosh, like if you looked up a picture of a perfect throwing motion in the dictionary, you'd see Taylen Green. No, it's not Carson Palmer. It's not an Andrew Luck. It's not one of those, but he's got good zip. Thought the ball gets there again. I didn't see a ball hit the ground, and I saw other quarterbacks struggle on a couple of throws. Not really Mad Dog. Mad Dog and Taylen looked good for me. I wonder if this is still going to be kind of a year where he still is yet to develop as the passer Prater, maybe he needs to be for Boise State, A, to win the Mountain West, and B, put themselves in a position where on selection day, Bronco Nation is tuned in to hope that they see the call that Boise State is getting back to a New Year's Six bowl game, and Taylen Green can join the company of Z, Kellen, and Hedrick as the only quarterbacks to take this team to that level bowl game. I wonder if it's going to pop this year and he's ready. He's got all the boxes checked, or like I said, if it's going to be, hey, it's going to be close this year, but it might not be New Year's Six level Taylen Green as far as a passer goes this year. We'll just have to wait and see, I guess.
Boise State's offense, and I spent way too much time today looking at the center position, I think really is predicated on the center position. And we talked about this yesterday. There isn't a single center on this football team that's taken a snap. It's the leader of the offensive line. It's the leader of the offense. And I'm really worried about that. So I watched Mason Randolph a lot today. And actually, Mason looked really, really, really good. After that, I saw some guys that kind of physically kind of concerned me just a little bit. I won't go into who they are, but, you know, because they were young guys, new guys. It was only one day. It was 50 minutes. And I want to look at them more, watch them more, and see how they develop. But Mason Randolph, who's never taken a snap at center in college football, that's a concern for me, but he looked the part. He looked like he had that long flowing blonde hair. He was just a couple of inches shorter and just a couple of inches wider. And he had that explosive first move. Again, it was just against air, so no big deal there, but he looked the part. So the center position, guys, is very, very, very critical. The right side, the left side, it's not going to click if the center can't make it work. I also worry about snapping. Didn't see a lot of that today. There wasn't a lot of snapping going on. We want to see more of that moving forward, but I definitely kept way too much eye on the center position today.
Yeah, gosh, good for you, because I didn't watch the offensive line at all. So luckily for you, Prater, we had that portion covered as well.
The starting offensive line at this point is, Cage Casey at this point was taking all the reps at number one in front of Ethan Card. So Cage Casey, the returner from last year, at this point is your starting left tackle. We know that Dooley, Randolph, and Curran are on the inside. Curran is the 97-year-old bald-looking dude who's going to beat the crap out of you if you ask a stupid question.
Dude, man.
Yeah, and then Beresford at the right tackle. The backups were Card, this Keenoff kid. I don't know much about him at left guard. Cardona at center. Actually, Bujnowski was taking the backup reps at center for a while today. Carry on. And Morn Schmidt over on the right tackle side. So I think they have a nice rotation with their offensive line. It seems like it's two persons deep. But again, to me, it all comes down to Mason Randolph.
Yeah, he's going to be a big one at center, man. And this program's had a tough go with that position, whether it come to injuries like KHG a couple years ago or just poor ass play. Just snapping the ball over the quarterback's head a couple of times. And that was a circus McGurkus, what they were going through a couple of years ago. That can't happen this year. It can't happen against Washington. It can't happen against home against UCF, Prater. This stuff needs to be clean. These guys need to be ready. Fall camp, there's no easing into this season with this team. I'm calling it this new era of Boise State football. And if it's going to look anything like some of the glory eras before, well, then they're going to go up to Seattle in a month from today, and they're going to kick some ass, man. And that's what Bronco Nation wants or expects. I don't think there's a moral victory with this, although maybe there could be with Washington, as good as they might be, but who knows? I think if Boise State can get this done, what a crazy upset that would be. Obviously, we got a month before we get there, and a lot of camp left, Prater. Today, just day one.
Yeah, a lot of camp left and a lot of things to decide. I did decide one thing today, and I could be 1,000% wrong. Breezy Dubar, guys, is not going to play football for you guys this year. I really don't. We saw that track and field injury that he had earlier this spring. It was gory. It was gross. But he's out there today. He was out there running around, but he's also the seventh string running back. They all were taking reps, and they were taking reps in order. They call it a seeding chart. It was Halani number one. Every drill the running backs did, it was Halani number one. It was Ashton Genty number two, and Tyler Crow number three, followed by Dudley Makita and Markham. Breezy Dubar, he looked okay. He's a lot taller than I thought he was going to be, not anywhere near as thick and powerful and imposing as like an Ashton Genty, a completely different body. But Breezy Dubar, seventh string today, taking seventh string reps. I didn't see a lot of explosiveness out of him. I just don't think that they're going to count on him. And I see Bronco Nation really wants to see this guy. And I want to see this guy. You want to see this guy. I came to the realization today that we're probably not going to see Breezy Dubar this season.
Well, you can play 4 games with a bye, with a bowl game now. I would say maybe at the end of the year, Prater, we see a bit of him, because remember, you can still, I will tell you this, he is redshirting this year. I will give you that. But we might see him late in the year, a game here, a game there. You can play him a few games, but don't expect anything. I'm with you. He will redshirt this year.
I think so. And if he gets in, it might be special teams.
Yeah. Something like that too. Something like that too.
I'm not sure if he'll get a carry this year. We'll see. I mean, he could, but they love Tyler Crow.
They do. They love Mr. Garbage Time. I love him too.
Yeah, they're going to be very loyal to Tyler Crow, who's going to get number 3. There's not going to be between Taylen Green running, Helani running, Genty running, and the loyalty they're showing to Tyler Crow, and even a little bit of Dudley, who had some carries last year. I'm not sure how much leftover carries are going to be for anybody.
You think there's a goal line back? I mean, it felt to me the previous years, certainly 2 years ago with AVB, Andrew Van Buren, he got the goal line carries. Helani didn't.
Yeah.
Last year, they both had, I think Genty had 7 touchdowns. Helani had over 10. I wonder this year, because obviously Keith Bonaparte, the old running back coach, felt like he was probably more willing to have that goal line back. We don't know what James Montgomery is going to do. I imagine who's ever in there, or if they're going to try to carve out some goal line back role. I don't know.
I think it'll be Helani and Genty again.
Yeah.
I really, truly do. Hopefully between the two of those guys can crank out 15 to 20 touchdowns.
Man, are you ready for this?
Oh, I'm ready to go back to camp. I'm ready to go back to practice tomorrow morning.
Me too, man. I'm fired up for practice already tomorrow. It's almost like I'm out there, Prater. Put a helmet on. Let me warm up some guys.
Settle
Let
down.
me run around.
Settle down, Skippy.
Let me run around. I want to do this, man. It's tomorrow.
You got to be just as good at the end of fall camp as you are at the start of fall camp. So pace yourself.
Yeah, no question. All right. Prater in the ball game. KTIK, the ticket soapboxes. We are hopping on them. I've been waiting for this one all day. It's Prater in the ball game on Idaho Sports Talk. Quick shout out to Zamzows. If you want to keep your lawn green, even in extreme heat, apply Zamzows Huma Green. It's designed for Idaho soils, right? So you can keep your lawn green without causing excessive growth. Available at 13 area Zamzows locations. Prater in the ball game.
This is Idaho Sports Talk